Welcome to our Community Care series by Cedar Memorial, another contribution in our long history of supporting the community.
Well, welcome everybody to the Community Care series by Cedar Memorial. My name is Dr. James Coyle, and I'm the GriefCare Specialist, the Community Outreach Specialist, and I'm also a certified grief educator. It is our honor to take this time to walk beside you during life's journeys. Today's session is going to be on the power of kindness. During this session of Community Care by Cedar Memorial, we will look at how the power of kindness takes our eyes off of ourselves, how the power of kindness can be contagious, and then having our antennas up looking for opportunities to make a difference with an act of kindness. So here's what I know about life. Every step that we take creates a ripple, and it's a ripple that goes out to others. One of the greatest impacts that we can have on someone is to treat them with an act of kindness. When we fill a person's bucket, we in turn fill ours. So acts of kindness towards friends, towards family, and even strangers decrease levels of mental health issues. It just improves thinking and the health of life. Research shows that acts of kindness toward others not only allows a person to feel much happier throughout that day, but also in subsequent days following that. So kindness takes our eyes off of ourselves and allows us to look at others. I love this quote by Bob Carey. Unexpected kindness is the most powerful, least costly, and most underrated agent of human change. What it allows us to do when we take our eyes off of ourselves, we get to join others in a world that really needs something good done in it. So kindness takes our eyes off of our own inadequacies and difficulties, and it allows us to focus on the needs of others. Have you ever had one of the worst days in your life and somebody either said something or did something that put a smile on your heart and helped dig you out of a hole? That's what acts of kindness can do. Someone might be in a very dark place, and your act of kindness gave them something that they needed or maybe didn't have. We never know how we will affect somebody when we give them or show them an act of kindness. Have you ever felt like you were touched by an angel? I know in many times throughout my life, I've had incidents where I've just felt the breath or the touch of something beyond what I could ever imagine. And that usually comes through the comfort and care of an act of kindness. Here's what I know. If we do something for 21 straight days, it becomes a habit. So if we can commit to an act of kindness for 21 days, then it becomes part of your life. And that great habit allows us to see opportunities to make a difference in someone else's life. When we're looking for ways to make a difference, then we take our eyes off of ourselves. I've been with over 1,000 people who have taken their last breath in this lifetime. I have the incredible opportunity to travel throughout the world in difficult situations and environments. Sometimes I am more affected by people, even in their last breath, that are offering acts of kindness to those around them. It is an incredible thing to witness. A quote by Barbara DeAngelis: "Love and kindness are never wasted. They always make a difference. They bless the one who received them, and they bless you as the giver." This contagious thing of an act of kindness just creates that ripple that we mentioned earlier. I want to share a story with you that happened A few weeks ago, I went to Come and Go, which I do every morning to get a hot cup of coffee. And on this particular morning, the weather was nasty. It was kind of raining, and somebody had dumped their garbage into the parking lot. Maybe you have seen that before, but it was one of those white bags. They threw it out of the car, and then the garbage was all around. And I got out of my car almost stepping on the garbage. So what I did is I leaned over, I grabbed the bag, and I began to gingerly pick all the pieces of garbage, put it in the bag, and then I took it over to the dumpster. I walked into the coffee bar and began to get my coffee, and the attendant came out and asked me, he said, "Did you just pick up all that garbage?" I said, "Well, yeah, of course I did. It's just the right thing to do." Well, he brought me a gift card, one of those Come and Go gift cards. And I looked at him and said, I don't need that. And just when I was speaking to him, there was a mom, and I want you to picture this. She had about a 6-7-month-old baby on her hip, right here, a toddler in her hands, and a counter full of stuff that she was purchasing. And I went over to her and I gave her that gift card. And she looked at me and just went, "Oh my gosh." So then I walked out into my car and I did some researching because I really liked those two attendants at the Come and Go. There were two of them. I see them every day. I went up the ladder and I got a hold of their boss, their supervisor, and I told them what a great job they did, that they need to be acknowledged. Later that day, I got an email back from their supervisor, and I guess he's a big head honcho. And he said to me, he said, "We don't see or hear this enough. Thank you. I will definitely pass it down." So the next morning, I walked in to Come and Go to get my cup of coffee, and I felt like a red carpet was rolled out for me. And it was just an act of kindness that just goes on and on and on. You've heard that term, paying it forward. And maybe you guys have done that, where you've bought something in front of or behind somebody. Those things are contagious. I teach at a college level, and in my class, in one of my classes, for the final exam, I require them to do an act of kindness. And they have to do it 7 straight days, record what they did, how it benefited the recipient, how it benefited them, and then they have to write a paper on it. It's absolutely amazing how these acts of kindness can even change the attitude of the students that were being part of that. The next thing I want to talk about is just the opportunities to be kind. And I want us to look at some things. A wonderful quote here from Abraham Lincoln: "Kindness is the only service that will stand the storm of life and not wash out. It will wear well and will be remembered long after the prism of politeness or the complexion of courtesy has faded away." Kindness connects us. And so I want to look and maybe give you some opportunities to maybe make a difference in somebody's life. My senior year at UNLV, I had a professor who I just didn't like. He challenged me, and this was many, many years ago, to write a mission statement. And I remember the first time I wrote it, he wadded it up and he threw it at me and he said, "It's too long." He did that the next 2 times until I finally got it down to 7 words. And those 7 words have guided my life. Those 7 words are helping people get to a better place. Helping people get to a better place. And so that directed me and guided me for the rest of my life. That's my whole purpose. That's what Community Care series is all about. It's about helping you get to a better place in life's journey. And so as I incorporated that into my being, now year after year, it's every breath I take. I just want to make a difference. And it's purposeful. We need to look at different ways to say hello. We go to restaurants, and during COVID, we didn't get to go. But when we finally got to go back, one of my favorite things to do is to afterwards go up to the place where the hostesses are. And I ask for the manager, and I ask for the manager like this: "I need to speak to the manager, please." just to kind of, because it's always setting them off guard. This is the time when I give my wife the keys to the car. She goes, because she knows what I'm going to do. And I end up talking to the manager, telling them how wonderful and what a great job that server did. And I'll never forget the one server we had. She was pregnant. Oh, God bless her, man. She was like 7 months pregnant and serving food. And what an incredible, incredible soul. So just make a difference. So that's one of the things I do every single time we go out is to make a difference in the servers' lives. There's not one manager that I've come across. When they come out, they look like this. And then as soon as you're hearing that we're doing an act of kindness, they just go, oh my gosh, nobody ever does that. Nobody ever says that. So look for opportunities. We have overused a word over these last 2 and going into our 3rd year of essential workers. I shouldn't say overuse. I think we need to use it more. But these are people at Hy-Vee, people at Fairway, people behind the meat department, wherever it is. If you just say to them a kind word or an act of kindness, you could actually make a difference in their entire day. Call a nursing home. My gosh, we augment hospital staffs all over the world during this COVID and other things, and they're tired. Oh my gosh. There's not one nursing home, not one hospital that doesn't need employees. They're overworked. And now the new wave of this pandemic has just knocked them down again. Call a nursing home. Talk to the CEO. And if you can't, talk to the director of nursing. I call him Don, D-O-N, the director of nursing. And just say thank you. Thank you for what you do. Call an emergency room at the hospital. Call the director of the hospital. Take a few minutes out of your day to give a message of hope, something encouraging during these incredibly difficult times. Work your way up the ladder if you need to. I work at a funeral home. Our funeral directors are overwhelmed. This has been a difficult season for all of us, and it's not stopping. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. Call a funeral director. Tell them that you appreciate them. Thank them for what they're doing. Call your first responders. I happen to be a chaplain on our fire department and our police department as well. And it's an amazing thing to work beside our first responders. Give them a shout out. Think about your world and make a difference. Here's another thing I do. Every time I go through the airport, in the airport security, and we think it is such a burden task to take off your shoes, take off your belt, empty your pockets, empty everything you can, put it in a tray. And every time I see one of the officers, I use 2 words. Thank you. Thank you for protecting us. Thank you. They don't hear that. People are disgruntled, and one act of kindness can change the world. So I have a few quotes for you. One is from Mark Twain. And he said this: kindness is a language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Henry James said this: 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. And I wish to leave you with a passage from a great mentor of mine, Mother Teresa, in her writings. And she had a poem that was titled, Anyway. And here's what she stated: people are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives, but be kind anyway. So thank you for allowing me to walk beside you during these few minutes and understanding the power of kindness. That kindness takes our eyes off of ourselves and allows us to see other opportunities. How kindness can be contagious. With every step that we take, it creates this ripple, this kindness does. And then looking for ways out of the norm to be kind to somebody else. So on behalf of Cedar Memorial and our Community Care series, we thank you.